Welcome to the Recycle Podcast, where we discuss everyday issues from a mental health perspective. We are your hosts, Dr. Rashonda Strickland,
Dr. LaFanya Jones-Hines,
and Dr. Nichelle Wall. Now, don't get it twisted. We're not going to be your stereotypical therapist.
What we will be is informative, down to earth, a little spicy, and vulnerable.
All right, interns, turn up your volume, grab your pen and paper. It's supervision time. As a reminder, this podcast is not meant to take the place of a relationship with a licensed mental health professional.
Welcome back to session 61, Movie Mental Breakdown. Think Like a Man, 2012, and Think Like a Man 2, 2014.
Okay, so I've really been trying to wrap my head around this one because it was hard. Mm-hmm. You know, not that the movie itself is a difficult breakdown, mm-hmm. but keeping up with the movie was difficult.
Mm-hmm, the structure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like the editing in this film is hard.
It's like they're teleporting.
It's like jump here, back here, jump over here, back over there, back here, back over there, and back around.
And I'm gonna narrate throughout it.
So like as I was typing, my fingers were like, "What's going on? This is not a scene." I was like, "Yeah, no, this isn't a scene because it's like 3 different scenes in one that all make this one scene." Mm-hmm. So for me, this was going to be one that I was like, "Okay, we're gonna have to break these down by couple, not by how the movie progresses."
Yeah. Yes, very much so.
But just so y'all know who the characters are, we have Cedric, who is played by Kevin Hart. Dominic is played by Michael Ealy. Yes. Jeremy is played by Jerry Ferrara. Michael is played by Terrence J. Zeke is played by Romany Malco. And Dennis Haysbert plays Uncle Eddie. Mm-hmm. He's known as the All-State Man.
Yes. That grown man right there.
Mm-hmm.
Very smooth.
Yes, yes.
For the ladies, we finally get to say Regina Hall, not Regina King. She plays Candace. Taraji P. Henson plays Lauren. Megan Good plays Maya. Kristen is played by Gabrielle Union. Loretta, who is Michael's mother, is played by Jennifer Lewis.
Miss Loretta.
And their friend Sonia is played by Lala Anthony. And then, of course, there are some additional, kind of characters in there. But those are your main folks between the two movies.
Chris Brown Alex kept popping in. Like, that was so random.
Some honorable mentions, though, because I just want to make sure we do get them. They little credit is Gary Owen, who plays Bennett.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot him and his wife.
And then Wendy McLendon Covey, who plays his wife Tish in the second movie.
Mm-hmm. And DeVoe from Belle Biv DeVoe.
Who plays DeVoe.
Yes. He was. Oh, and Cedric's wife, also, who's played by Kevin Hart, his wife, Gail, is played by Wendy Williams.
That's right.
Wendy.
Mm-hmm. So they're all your characters. Mm-hmm. All right. So what group do we want to start with? What individuals?
I had Dominic and Lauren first. That was the first couple that I wrote down.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
See, yeah. So I started off just with the weirdness that Cedric was doing in the bar.
Caveman.
Yeah.
Oh, before.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did that too. I did that part too.
Yeah, I started so my notes start off with talking about the song "If This Is a Man's World," because that's what's playing as the opening credits, and the cartoon scene is kind of going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a good pick for this movie, considering it's all about thinking like a man, and kind of what the end fruition, at least for the first movie, kind of where they all end up, which it really ties back to the lyrics of that song.
That's true.
Yeah. Because like James said, this is a man's world.
But it wouldn't be nothing
Nothing
without a woman
or a girl.
One thing that I did think was interesting in the narration part at the beginning with the caveman cartoon thing is Kevin Hart was talking about how they used to have to work to get a woman.
Yeah,
now they don't got to do nothing.
I did too. I thought that was interesting too.
So I was like,
because he said that used to be their goal to marry her. So because what they wanted, they
required
couldn't get,
that.
I wrote that down too. I was like, oh, that's very interesting and very poignant for today's time. You know, if people follow kind of like that red pill, blue pill, incel, you know, kind of faction, or even I know the pink pill is a specific podcast, but you know, if you follow that kind of those areas of YouTube or even Instagram or Facebook, you hear a lot of this kind of talk today about men and lack of work, or you know, not putting in efforts or things like that, and this shift towards, specifically for Black women, like requiring different things, requiring more. And it seems to be, at least in the social media realm, to be causing a lot of tension between the two. Yeah.
I agree with that. The other thing that I noticed in the beginning of the movie is the breakdown of the type of men.
I wrote those down.
Yeah, I did too. I was like,
see, we on the same page. So interns, they are going to be dealing with, you know, 4 specific people, but also kind of a 5th. And so you have the player, which is Zeke, aka Romany Malco. Then you have the mama's boy, which is Michael, who is played by Terrence J. Then you have the dreamer, which is the beautiful Michael Ealy, honey. The swag that he has in his spirit.
Yes.
And then you have the non-committer, who was played by Jerry Ferrara. I almost called him Jeremy because they both are J's.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, you do have the divorced guy, which is played by Kevin Hart, and then you also have a happily married guy. He's like the grounding but aloof idiot.
That's Bennett.
I know.
Gary Owen.
The slight voice of reason for all the men.
I look at him strange now, since he ain't really doing that.
Now his personal life is a whole nother story. Okay. So do we want to start off with Dominic and Lauren?
Okay. Let me get down to that part of my notes.
Okay.
Dominic.
So one of the things
you want to introduce them first, though? Each of our couples, like we did for Why Did I Get Married? Like who they are, some of their things that they...
Okay. So I was getting ready to talk about her. Okay. So Lauren is kind of like your stereotypical career woman. You know, she's very, very successful in her career and has taken on a lot of what would be considered traditional masculine, what you call them, identities or behaviors. She's a COO for, I would almost say, a Fortune 100 company. And it's had a lot of trouble in the man area. She's currently...
She is the man of the relationship as far as what she's been described as.
She's very specific about what she wants. She wants a man that's her equal.
So she's definitely a alpha.
And she's also stuck in the past.
Yes. Not really willing to compromise. And is very competitive. That was one of the things I wrote later about her. Or just kind of their dynamic, that when you enter into a relationship under the guise of competition, you've already set up a dynamic that's not going to be healthy between you and your partner. But she is really competitive about accolades and accomplishments, and I want someone that has at least equal or higher to what I have, but not necessarily considering for the stage that she's at, that her prospects are very limited. Considering you are a Black woman that is a COO of a major corporation, and if you want another Black man, you have a extremely extremely small pool.
Because she also still has the opportunity to move up.
Yep.
Yes. But if you could, basically this movie is a walking stereotype of just about all
Everything.
of these characters.
Now, y'all, her bob was always fire.
Her hair was beautiful.
This was the era of Taraji P. Henson having these bobs, and she got that nice thick hair.
Yeah, her hair was bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Taraji
In the first
P.
one
Henson.
and the second one. I was like, Lord Jesus, her hair.
Both of these looks.
Yep.
Dang, I wish I wouldn't have cut off my hair.
Yeah, her hair was beautiful.
Yeah.
It almost make you want to go back and get a relaxer because I was like, dang, her hair is swinging back there, boy.
It is, but she's natural.
Yeah, she is.
That's a whole nother story. But and she is also best friends with
Candace, aka Candace.
Yes, I didn't say Regina Hall's character name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
did.
it.
I did. Oh, okay. I thought I missed that. She is also best friends with Candace, but they don't really do a whole lot of backstory on
how they became.
friends. Their relationship.
You just know.
Yeah.
That
she the godmama of
Yeah.
Duke and that sort of thing.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we start with Lauren, and then we have Dominic, who is again your stereotypical dreamer. He is down and out. He's dated a lot of women, and he's the guy with potential. He has, we talked about this in previous sessions about dating somebody for potential, but it doesn't go anywhere. At the stage that we originally see him in the film, he has no plans.
And one of the dates that he was on, the young lady decided that wasn't good enough for her, which is fine. That's what we were talking about in one of our sessions, that you have to determine if that's okay, if you're okay with being with a dreamer. Because, we'll talk about it later, but for him, it worked out. Like we said in our previous sessions, it may work out, but you may get some that don't.
Yeah, it may stay in dreamland.
Whatever that line was, the Tika Sumter, this is her real name. I can't remember who she was in the movie.
She's so beautiful.
Whatever that line was, it was cold-blooded. When she dumped him.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but y'all go watch the movie, obviously, and hear it. But I was like, I need to use that. I don't date nobody, but I can use it somewhere.
Yeah, she definitely just dropped the mic on him.
Yeah.
And it was almost like he was shocked, like,
right.
Oh, you're actually leaving me. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, because I think he had changed like 4 times.
She named a few that first you wanted to do this, now you wanted to do that, and now you want to do this. No, I'm not doing this. Because
then it becomes, how long do you expect a person to sit by on the sidelines and wait while you figure it out? Would it be healthier for your relationships for you to figure out whatever it is you want to do or need to do first, then invite somebody into your life, versus kind of dragging them along with you, and the whole time they're just kind of sitting in this holding pattern and they can't grow and move forward because they're stuck with you.
But see, then you have those people who, if I wait, then I don't know if you with me because you love me or because of my money.
Yes.
Well, that's going to be part of it, because that's what comes with you.
Or you become the starter woman. That happens too.
Yeah.
But like we said, he's a stereotypical kind of dreamer. He recently lost his job and then started working for...
he was a chef at that restaurant.
And then became a chef at the restaurant. Where
was he No, he wasn't even a chef. I think he was valet, actually.
He was on the line, and he did valet. So
Okay.
he didn't have a for real position. He was just really
Like a
in the
floater.
kitchen.
Yeah.
But that's how we are introduced to the two of them. I'm gonna say Taraji, Lauren, and Candace.
And so I gather she had come in there several times because
That's her
of the way.
spot.
Yeah,
And she
of the
said
way
she was
that
a foodie.
She sure did. Okay.
So they're in there, having their little dinner, they girl talk, and Lauren leaves. She's leaving, so she's getting her valet. And of course, now Dominic is like, "What? She fine."
But you saw her peeping him too, though. She knew he was fine too.
She did,
because he's finer.
Because she was taking that jacket off mighty slow
with that bob just swinging in slow motion. But he's supposed to be bringing the car up,
right?
Because he valeting, he bringing the car up, but he see her and he like, nah. This is my opportunity. Let me steal this $100,000 car and drive. Don't know how to work it. Can't roll the window down.
Turn the music on.
It's too much going on. And she's like,
I'm trying to figure out how come you didn't peep that he didn't know how to work his own car.
Okay, because you over there, you just looking. And you just looking. He looking at you. You looking at him. He looking at you. And yeah,
because I would have been like, "You okay? You all right?"
Because you done let the whole door up.
Because they got butterfly doors.
Okay, my face would have been all scrunched up like
your window not working. You got this car, but your window don't work.
Exactly.
Right. So of course they get to hollering at each other, and he said he gonna pick her up. This is one of the plot things in movies that I never understand. When they set up a date, but then they don't like exchange information. Like you don't see that part. They're like, okay, well I'll just pick you up at 8. Almost cuss. How? You don't know nothing about. You don't know my number. You don't know nothing.
Don't know my name.
Nothing. But you just say I'm gonna pick you up at 8,
and then y'all just drive off,
and that's it.
And he loses his job because he just stole the car.
You about to lose your job,
and he did.
Get this dance.
So that's our introduction to Dominic and Lauren. Now they go on their first date,
which was nice. It really was pretty.
Yep,
it really was.
It was nice.
The vibes was there.
I feel like they had probably the most organic chemistry. But I think that's just who they are as actors.
Yeah,
because
they had good
Taraji.
Yeah,
she'll kiss the soul out of you,
girl.
And then Michael will kiss the soul out of you. So you put that together.
It was all tongue action.
I was like, Michael, ain't you married
with kids?
Cause your wife approved that kiss right there. Cause that looked like a real.
He don't have a disclaimer like Boris and Nicole. Because they don't do that closed mouth.
Yeah, that was real.
Yeah,
because you saw all of it on the side.
Yeah, I'm like, y'all better get that good kiss in. Taraji. Yes.
Where is my person that want to kiss me? That's what I miss from dating, kissing.
I'm not gonna even answer that question because
I'll punch both of y'all.
I know where he is, but
no.
Anyways, but the chemistry is flowing.
Yes.
So
much so they started making out. She's like, wait, no. And I felt like that was such a real reaction.
Oh, rewind. Okay. Like even at the table, like the questions, like he was like, man, she interested. And she's like, no, that's a dream. And that just connected so much with him. I was like, oh, look at her being open.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, oh, she's supporting for her to be the way she described herself when she was talking to Candace. Yeah. Like you really are supporting the fact that he has a dream.
Because by this point, they had exchanged about the book by this point. Yeah.
Because they exchanged at the dinner table.
Yeah.
I mean, the restaurant.
Yeah.
So, she was already, they both, he wasn't playing the game. Well, he was because he was lying about the money. But,
by omission.
She was already kind of in that headspace of trying to like, okay, I'm going to take this information that I got from this book and see if it actually works. And it did.
Yeah.
Because then they got back to
her little condo.
Yeah.
And it was on and popping.
Like popping. Like popcorn.
Yeah, her they're both of them little reactions was he talking about some, I'm a Christian too, and it just
because except for that one movie, he always two movies. He always plays these very like, okay, I'm gonna wait, but no, I'm gonna go. Like he always plays a genuinely good guy, except for them two movies.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that part?
Reference? Yes.
I was like,
it was multiple. Like they were both. Somebody else
said break something. The fourth wall?
They did. They broke the fourth wall. Like he's crazy. He kills kids.
Yeah,
and he's saying it because he the person. Yes. I was like, God.
I put that in my notes.
Because it almost caught me off guard. I was like, wait, hold on, wait, what? He just referenced a movie that he's in,
and it was him. It was his character.
His character. What?
Yeah,
and it was a Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah, it was a Tyler Perry movie.
I was like, dang, okay.
Yeah, they did that quite often. Like I feel like that particular bar scene was like comedic genius. Like who? Well, I mean, we know who wrote it. Will Packer. He wrote the film.
Yeah.
And he did such a great job with that. I was like, y'all better be in here talking about stuff y'all done already did and big up in yourself in the middle of a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny sometimes. But, I liked their chemistry.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell that they're feeling each other. And when they woke up in the morning,
I like their breakfast in the bed.
Girl.
that's what I wrote in my notes. I was like, oh, that's such a sweet way to wake up, unlike one of the other characters that we will talk about in a little bit.
Yes.
But it was a way for him to showcase himself.
Mm-hmm.
That
he really is a good chef.
Yeah, the real part of him.
Yeah.
And he's a sweetheart. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You can tell that he really does have a good heart. He might need to get a couple of new friends because they be sending him down a spiral that he don't need to go down.
Yeah.
Just lie to her. Don't you tell her the truth. What?
Boy,
I
the
don't wanna
advice in this movie was
Horrible.
between Cedric
and Zeke.
I said, y'all need to sit down. Cedric, you
Yes.
don't even have a wife right now. Stop
you
it.
got a half wife.
Right.
Yeah, the advice, I was like, why are you guys encouraging this man to lie?
And he want to tell the truth.
That was my thing.
Yes.
He wanted to tell the truth, and y'all are like, no.
Just tell him how to tell the truth. Like, I'm not telling him how to tell the truth. Just tell him like when is a good time. Like, okay, so don't do that when y'all just get out of stop having sex, because that ain't gonna be the right time. Don't do that. Do it at a different time. Do it while y'all having dinner or something.
Right.
Yep.
Because then what happens is they see each other at a banquet dinner or some
She was
sort
getting
of
a
a,
reward or
yeah, she was getting recognized for something, and you wanted a maitre d's,
Yes.
and you get nervous.
Girl, he wasn't even a maitre d'.
He was a server.
A hors d'oeuvre, sir. He
Oh.
dropped the tray.
Oh Lord! So you was just
He was one of the flock.
he was
Not even the head flock.
dang, and then like you get nervous. I couldn't tell if she peeped him first, like if they saw each other at the same time, or if she noticed him when he dropped the thing.
He did.
He
He
dropped
noticed
it.
her, and then he got nervous and tried to turn around and dropped the tray.
And that's when
Okay.
she looked out, and so like, oh,
Okay. Because I was like, the pacing of this movie is like, if you're not paying attention,
yeah.
you blink, you'll miss something. So I couldn't tell if it was that or he noticed her first. But then, of course, she was like, "Aw, sugar, honey, iced tea." And I would have been too,
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
because that's one of those like audible, like, wait, hold on,
how you drive a sports car and you a server?
because he down. Because now the jig is up.
Yeah, and you don't have a choice. And that jig got up quick.
hmm Yeah, because at this point now, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a choice but to, at a minimum, tell me that this vehicle is not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the minimum.
And he was honest with her.
Yeah.
Immediately from what we're gathering, they didn't really show that conversation, but you can tell that he was forthcoming with all the information.
Yeah.
Because she continued to, after some encouragement from Candace about like, girl, don't be out here acting reckless because that man is showing genuine interest in you and that's what you've been wanting.
Mm-hmm.
So don't throw it away because,
You don't have your status.
Yeah,
that
she
you
was
want.
going in though, because Candace was like, just because he doesn't have 6 figures, and Lauren was like, he don't have 4 figures.
She
I was
did.
like, come on now, stop that.
I know. She really did put him out there.
Yeah.
Put him out there bad.
She did.
But he had everything else that she wanted.
She sure did. I mean, he sure did.
He was genuine after he told the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He was genuine, but he was really into her. Like he cared about her. So I was very glad that Candace held her accountable.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And didn't like placate into that idea of you're better than him. Just because you make more money than him.
Yeah, and those are the type of friends you really do need in your corner, because they gonna tell you the truth regardless of whether or not it hurt your feelings or bust your little bubble or not. Because
That part.
yeah, because you need those type of people around you. You need some cheerleaders, but you also need some people who gonna not let you fall into your foolishness.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I appreciated that, at least about the female friends, that they did not let each other, just act out.
Recklessly.
Now, what I will say with the guys is that anytime they were in Zeke's house, they normally did have pretty good advice. Cedric was stupid every time,
Mm-hmm.
but that is the only time that he really did give good advice, because in that moment, Zeke and Cedric, said, hey, you got to go all in, make her a gourmet dinner and like she's at a 5-star restaurant and like really do it big. You gonna have to like step your game up, even though his game technically was already stepped up, but he's having to make up for this lie that he's not told.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I did like, and I did like that he chose something to grab her in again.
Mm-hmm.
That wine bottle that what was 1968 something.
Yeah, and she had got the winner
year
wrong.
Yeah.
And he was like, really? It was
because he is cultured. He got to know that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was it. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yep.
Because she was already, the goose pimples was already crawling up her skin.
Y'all see how she kept trying to ignore him? And scooting over. I said, girl,
please, you already done saw the man now.
That was it.
he's fine.
Right. Once you knocked on the door and he opened it, you was gone.
That was it. You had me a hello.
Yeah.
But he gonna have to stop using Cedric as his wingman, because when he was the limo driver, he talking about, God damn.
Damn, your skirt is short.
Yeah. And then when he was the person that was giving out the hors d'oeuvres,
he said
for
whatever
the second date.
Yeah. He said whatever it was, whatever quiche thing they were eating, he said it wrong.
Something like a crudité. That's not what they said, but
because that was where
a French word.
I was like,
yeah, I can't remember.
But I was like, no.
It was a French word, and he said it horrible. And Lauren and Dominic corrected him and just nodded their head. And he got, her the hors d'oeuvres, and he walked off eating them.
Yes.
Sir, you supposed to lead the hors d'oeuvres.
He said, no, these mine, and they good. This man can cook, clearly.
Yeah.
In multiple ways.
Yes, because he did tell them about balancing them chocolate covered strawberries, and then later on in the film, they got, of course, chocolate covered strawberries.
He licking her real knee.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't a fake knee. Keep on, sir. Keep on.
Don't you want to stay married? No.
Yeah, all right.
But as, the hijinks go, the guys find out about the book, and this will be across the board for all of the characters.
Yeah.
And then, it becomes like a two can play that game kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And really the women weren't playing a game. They were trying to
abide by the advice that was given in the book.
Mm-hmm. Which I have thoughts about all of that.
I read those books.
I read half of the first one. I didn't finish it.
Yeah, I read some of the first one.
Yeah, I feel like it's some good advice in there, but I do feel like it's kind of kitschy.
Mm-hmm.
But I get that. Some people need,
it's palpable,
something like that. But us coming from a therapeutic mindset, it really wasn't a deep dive into working on these things, becoming more in tune with yourself. I do think he gave some stuff away that the men probably wasn't trying to get away.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think the women were trying to play a game. I mean, in essence, they were, but I don't think the intent behind it was to play games. Mm-hmm. It was to be able to open up,
and correct their behaviors.
Their behavior, so that they can receive the type of love that they've been looking for.
Yeah.
Now, the men, on the other hand, felt like they were getting played
because they wasn't ready for love. Well,
Jeremy
Dominic was ready.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy
the rest
was not.
of them were not. Zeke was not.
Definitely not.
When we get to him,
yeah, he was.
He was not.
Jeremy was not.
Jeremy was not. Michael really wasn't either, even though he really liked her.
Mm-hmm.
But he, we'll get into his situation.
It was the thing that it was his crush. So I think that is what made him more excited about the relationship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then, of course, they start doing their little plots and plans to get the ladies back.
Which required them to step up.
It did. And, of course, because plot, it worked. And
reverse psychology was really what it was.
Yeah.
On themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The game.
Yeah.
But of course it worked. But then, as all these things must do, it starts to unravel after a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say with Dominic and Lauren, Lauren actually sabotaged this relationship. So it wasn't necessarily that
his unraveled.
He did, because like we said, he really was trying to be all in anyway, and he just really stepped his game up and became a more together businessman, which is something that she's very attracted to. He had his little prospectus and she shopped it, but
because he wasn't already there and didn't have the status, that's how he ended up getting the boot for Morris Chestnut.
Because that man fine too. Now his hair was not right, girl, and it made him. I mean, I guess it did what it was supposed to do, but it made him look very.
Yeah, I like
cheesy.
The bald.
I don't know what it was, but I was just like,
yeah, I was like, I prefer bald Morris Chestnut.
That Beijing.
Yes, it was on full effect, but. Yes. So and if anything, it was actually in this situation, like Dominic eventually said to her, she took on the role of the man. You know,
you sound like a man.
But she did.
Yeah.
You know, she fell for the stuff. She reverted. Basically, she reverted
Straight
back
up.
to what she thought. What she thought she wanted. You know,
straight up acquisition.
Yeah.
And ended up sabotaging, like you said, her relationship with Dominic, and he handled it in probably one of the most hurtful but yet respectful ways I think you could ever handle a situation like that. When he kissed her on the top of the head, I probably would have had a full-on breakdown if that was me.
That's okay.
Baby, I'm sorry. Just forget I said it, please. I'm so sorry.
I know. I would.
Please forgive me.
Because she annihilated that man. I'm like, he's a sensitive man. Like, he's not one of these hard dudes. So you really didn't have to do him like that.
Because it was cold.
Yeah, she was like, let me cut. This is not her exact words, interns. Let me cut to the chase. So this is what's going on. Me and my ex recently reconnected. First of all, why you reconnecting and you in a relationship? That's the first thing.
That part. I was like, what?
It was horrible.
I think what tripped her up though is that wherever they were, Dominic's car pulled up and it was a hoopty.
Oh, it's when he was leaving her condo.
Oh, okay.
Because that's right when she saw James is Morris Chestnut's character name. Saw James again because this is her blast from the past relationship.
Yeah. So she saw that hoopty drive away and that lady was looking at her, and then Morris Chestnut pulled up in this sports car.
I didn't know what that was. I was like, it ain't that cute though.
It was a sports car that it looked expensive to her.
Yeah, that's about the thing about comparison.
Yeah.
If you got something that in reality, I mean, yeah, it was a hoopty, but it was functional.
He just needed a grill.
And then you put it next to something that in your mind carries a certain level of status. It's going to amplify that thing of status because it's being compared to something, that you believe is less than.
Yeah.
So then you've equated these things with value. So then, of course, the men that are associated with these two things, their value is being compared because of the visuals.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But she completely annihilated this man. Was very cold, distant, like completely emotionally unavailable. Like it was like that's the kind of stuff when you say things like that to a person after they've invested, even if he was playing, part of the men game. When you've invested that much emotional energy in trying to develop something with somebody and they just completely shut you out, like that's the kind of stuff that can turn a man into a dog.
Yeah. And he was honorable because he probably, pride too in there, but he didn't take her connection to get the money, the investor that he needed for his restaurant. He was like, no, I'm going to do it on my own. And he ended up getting a little food truck instead and working on that earnestly. But
she told me something. Now, don't be stupid. That's business. I was like,
no, we're not going to do that.
No.
You not at the Players Club. We're not going to do that.
Because when she said that, I was thinking, no, this is about honor and integrity.
Oh, girl, yes.
And you're showing, what you're showing him is you have none.
And what he's showing you is that he does.
And I was like, and you, yes, Lord Jesus. And you deserved, I hate to say it that way, but you deserve to be sitting there looking like that. Because the way you came at him, there was no reason. Like, there's literally no reason. Even if you were going to go back to your ex, there was no reason for you to speak to him that way.
Yeah.
He had done nothing to deserve that level of
emasculation.
So fix your face while you sitting over there about to cry. Because you walked in, you invited that. Like, you know what? I'm just going to completely shatter my relationship.
For no reason.
Yeah. And hope that we can be friends at it. Yeah. I mean, that's how she walked in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, are you serious? This literally is not a business meeting. But.
This is one of those situations where we've talked about self-awareness. She did not pay attention to how her words and actions was going to affect someone else. And even if she didn't want to be in a relationship with him, she could have did it a whole different way.
Yeah. I agree. So then, he go off, get his food truck, get himself started. She goes off with James and then proceeds to learn
that it's all about me. Me, and me.
The thing that she had been told in the beginning, it's like the light bulb finally went off for her and she realized, oh, this really is true. Like, he's not asking me. He doesn't know nothing about me. He ain't asked me about my day. He just talking about all the stuff he done bought or what the company bought. And he didn't even catch on when she said, I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Like, he literally was like, what?
That went right over his head.
I was like, how unaware can you be, sir? Like, you don't pick up on sarcasm? Nope. And, it was at this moment she knew she effed up.
And right before that date, she had been talking to Candace about the grand opening for Avenue D, which is the food truck that Dominic opened. And so, she's like, I got to go get my man.
Yeah, after she realized, like, oh man, I really do want somebody that invests in me. Oh man, I had that. I messed up bad. So now you got to come crawling back, girl. Because you actually did have, what people would consider to be a good man.
And this is one of those situations where y'all ended the relationship too soon and for nothing.
Yep. This goes back to our session about leaving a good thing.
Yeah, Unready.
Unready. Okay, I couldn't
Unready.
remember which
there
one.
You go. Go back and listen to Unready. Can you leave something when it's good and healthy? Yes. This is a great visual example of that. So then she get up there, Bruce trying to get his pork sandwich.
And it's right when he started losing weight.
I know. I was like, oh, this ain't the big Bruce. But she kills me whenever she get real hype. Cause she was like, get out the way.
Yeah.
I'll knock your
I
head
like
off.
when she started going off on people because it just her little face just scrunches in and she just be talking.
She does. And she, confesses that she messed up and I'm sorry and, I want you back.
I love him.
And he like, girl, I got business to attend to. I appreciate what you doing. But get out my line. And then she did like when she was in Baby Boy, when he had closed the door on her face when she was going to drop the baby off. And she got back in the car. He was like, he don't want me no more. That's what had happened to her again. But this time, she opened the door. She done growed up a little bit.
She opened the door.
Yeah. And she told them, get out.
Yeah.
And they did. And then she said, nah, you taking me back. Cause I want you.
She put them things on him. That's
she did.
What it was.
She did.
He couldn't resist her.
So then, of course, they get back together. And that's kind of where their story ends for the movie.
For the first movie.
Well, yes, for the first movie. In the second movie,
nothing really happened.
Yeah, there's nothing
they
really.
Both got a different job opportunity, and Lauren originally said yes. He contemplated his. He thought she said yes,
but she didn't really. Essentially what ends up happening is all the couples come back for a wedding of an individual in the group, which we'll disclose in a second. And as they're getting their promotions and like their relationship is still good, no problems, but there's not an opportunity for them to discuss these promotions. So it ends up looking like they're going behind each other's back. And of course his boys are not helping, but come to find out that's not what actually was going on. And they were able to make easy amends, and no, their couple doesn't really have any significant problems in the second movie.
Yeah. No. So they ended up pretty well. Okay, so who we want to get into next, or any final thoughts about the two of them?
No, I just think that they had not traditional, a typical relationship of like how things can go in a relationship, but how things can also be worked out if both of you are willing to communicate and work things out, you know?
Yeah, okay. I concur.
All right. Who you want to mosey on to next?
I would say let's do Jeremy and Kristen.
Okay. So we don't get a whole lot of backstory about Jeremy and Kristen other than they went to college together.
College sweetheart.
Yeah, college. Jeremy stayed there.
To the last 10
now
minutes.
They are the rule book on the man-child.
Oh.
And the
girl,
the parent.
yes.
Because he literally has not grown up. You know, sometimes you have a man-child that is cloaked under, you know, appearing like they have grown up, but not this one. Because I don't think he works.
He works, but it's a low level.
Low level? Oh, he's a junior or something.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. He hasn't grown at all. They still have the same ratty-tatty couch from college that's got duct tape all over and looks like it's been through not just some things, it's been through all the things.
It looked like that's one of them couches that you found on the side of the dumpster.
He did.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
It had MRSA in it, probably.
Oh, no. And people been having sex on the couch.
All the homeboys
had. Gross.
But this is our quirky couple of the group, which I can appreciate that with the movie not being traditional in that way. They're very much into anime and fictional movies and books. Like my brain went blank just then. I was about to say Dragon Tales. That is not wrong.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Just that whole thing. They go to Comic-Con, like they're that type of couple. This is an interracial couple. Because like we said, Kristen is Gabrielle Union and Jeremy is Jerry Ferrara, which I'm assuming his name is technically Italian, but he looks Hispanic. But they call him a white man in the movie, so
it's a lot.
We're just gonna say he's white for this breakdown.
Yeah, this was one that it was like, it was almost like, how has she stayed? Because they've been together 9 years, and like his level of man-child was very high.
I put in my notes, this was an example of staying with someone because of history.
Yes.
I think she was doing the thing that we kind of talked about, like feeding into what he wants and losing herself. So that she can try to like meet him where he's at, which in theory that's fine to a certain degree if y'all are both doing that, but still having some perspective. There was no perspective. He was like, she loves this stuff, and all the black dudes was like, no, she doesn't.
And that's what I found interesting, that he said that was their response across the board, and he still didn't get it.
Nope.
Like, then you don't even understand. Like, you can't even hear your friends,
and you don't even know who you in a relationship with. Like,
it's
that's
cognitive dissonance.
Yes, and it's the epiphany of a representative that she's had all throughout their 9 years.
Yeah, that goes back to that session about representatives. Like, how long can you hold one? And he held one for 9 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she held a different one.
Yep.
And you know what I find very interesting in their relationship is that they I was listening to a different podcast and it was talking about you know, the sex life of couples when they have like these kind of disconnects, and how one will try to dominate the relationship and the other person will kind of accommodate.
Yeah.
But the person that accommodates over time, like, doesn't want to engage in, that part of the relationship anymore. I found it interesting that she didn't fall into that she was still very active in wanting to engage with him in that way.
And still wanted to marry him.
And still wanted to marry him despite the fact that he showed zero interest in ever being more than what they were.
I think one of the things that worked for her is that she actually did like the things that he liked. It just wasn't to the degree that he liked him, and she also wanted to progress. So I don't think she was ever like, you can't do these things, and tried to make him be a different person per se. She says, but I also need you to evolve. Like, why are you not trying to get a better job? Why are you not wanting to grow up and, like have a non-dorm room vibe in our house? Like, y'all got a whole house, like a nice house, technically.
Yeah.
She's a realtor.
That's what I was going to say.
Very nice place.
And the thing about it is, although he wasn't seemingly thriving in his career, she had. Yeah.
Big time.
I mean, again, it goes back to that man-child and the mother. She mothered him. She took care of, it seems like she took care of everything, and was the caretaker, the nurse,
she's one of the boys,
the house manager. She was one of the boys.
That's what she said. She said that to her friend.
I'm one of the boys, but with a vagina. That kind of made me laugh too. I was like, oh man,
yeah,
you're right, Gabby.
Yeah.
Which was really unfortunate, just thinking about putting yourself in her position, like when you have that realization, like it's something that probably had been slowly building for her over the years, but then just to finally have like that epiphany moment, like, oh my God.
Yeah. Because, Steve Harvey said it, you're not requiring anything of him. Because she first gets introduced to the book by watching, we just going to say it's Oprah. It ain't really Oprah, but that's what we're going to call it. Watching Oprah. And so she was like,
Yeah, because he was being interviewed. Steve Harvey was being interviewed.
So I can totally get that. Because that's actually something that I've talked about with clients well before the book came out. It's like, you're not requiring anything. Like, what are your standards? Are you maintaining them? Because you can't just be like, okay, he's going to come in, he's going to do whatever he wants to do, and he's going to meet my needs. No, that's not how this works. Y'all are two different people.
Yeah, and I have to talk to clients a lot about how, when you go on a date, you're concerned about, they were concerned about, what if they don't like me? I used to have to, what if you don't like him? Or what if you don't like her?
Yeah, or each other.
Right.
What if they breast thing?
I mean, yeah. I mean, so you can't worry about whether or not you have to be you, and you have to decide if what's being shown to you is what you want.
Yeah.
And he took such little responsibility that when she even introduced the idea of changing things around the house, he just simply defaulted it to, okay, whatever
you want to do,
But
he didn't mean it.
No. Not at all.
Because when he came in that house and it had a totally different vibe, everything gone.
It was an adult
apartment, and she started talking to that interior design person in Italian, which that's one thing I can say. Like, she may have represented like the mid-level person that's working, but she knew multiple languages in this movie. So she knew Italian, Spanish, and something else I can't remember, but she was always speaking these languages in the background of the movie, and he didn't even know she knew him. You've been with somebody 9 years, you don't know that?
Don't know who you with
at all.
You with a whole linguist.
Well, because they were really just friends. Roommates. They were roommates and friends that titled themselves as being in a relationship, but the behavior that y'all showed, y'all was really just friends with benefits.
Yeah,
true.
That happened to live together. But yeah, he had a whole awakening when he came home, and that giant transformer was gone and all the posters was gone, and he see these like abstract pictures on the wall, and there's people walking around moving furniture and stuff. And it's like,
he started pouting when his little chair was getting ready to be moved.
I was like, it can stay. It do match the decor.
But pouting.
Sat down and crossed his arms and said, "You cannot take it."
And I'm like, sir, you're already with one of the tallest women in the cast. Don't do that.
I know.
You just a little taller than Kevin Hart.
And I was thinking, it made sense for the movie, of course. But like, if that was a real situation, like that's one of the things that's like, that's not attractive
at all.
But she used to it.
She
you know
is.
what I'm saying? Like that is an acceptable behavior for them as a couple. Mm-hmm. I'm looking like, fool, you better use your words.
Especially in front of these people.
Yeah.
You got me talking to this man. Oh, papa, like she was going in. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. And when he find out about the book, I feel like
his was straight manipulation.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like his was almost the worst.
Him and Zeke.
I felt like Zeke's was bad.
Yeah, I did
because
too.
it was a physical violation.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me say that.
But I feel like those two were neck and neck.
I'll give my thoughts on that when we talk about Zeke, because I kind of feel two ways about it. Mm-hmm. But I definitely was like, Jeremy's was. I mean, it was just foul.
Right. It was straight because you lied, sir.
Still.
You
know
like
what I mean?
you said you sent your resume to this company and you didn't.
Not only did you not send it, you wrote a resume that just said blah 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 blah.
And you could have really just submitted the thing, even if you didn't get it, because you told her you were going to do it. Y'all have too many people that y'all obviously went to college with that y'all are still interconnected.
That are also successful.
Also
that
successful.
You can't get a job that would be comparable to what your girlfriend wants.
But I'm saying that because she has a way to check.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all didn't have the connections that y'all had, then there would be no way to check. Like, he's technically the low man on I don't like to say that. He's the lowest person in the group. You got Dominic who just floating, but he's still obviously making money because he's self-sufficient.
Yeah.
But he's the one that's just like, I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he don't. So he's the lowest, I would say, because he don't want to go nowhere. Mm-hmm. He is still in college, and everybody else has grown up. Yeah, even if they've grown up to still be
doing dysfunctional behavior,
but they still growth.
Yeah, they still moved in some sort of direction.
Yeah, a big eye opener for that was when all the ladies were asking, what are your short term goals? What are your long term goals? What do you want to do with your life? And he was like, man, that's too heavy. I think I need a bong hit.
Yeah.
And she goes with it. Mm-hmm. They have a little bong hit, and he's like talking about something so insignificant, like talking about, I don't know, but it wasn't what she
was hoping to get out of that. Mm-hmm. And that's also about knowing your partner. Knowing, do they have the capacity to have those types of conversations with you? Do they have the emotional understanding? Do they even have the language to be able to formulate those types of thoughts of future planning, and even if it's short, intermediate, or long term. And he eventually got there. But if you were just going to base it, if you didn't have that book to prompt you to do what you did,
you wouldn't have known.
You would not have known.
How would you know?
And how long would you have stayed in this relationship?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's going to stay for forever.
Her.
I think she was going to be out regardless. It would have been him that would have been cool with staying. And the way Kristen reacted to finding the book and the resume is definitely probably how I would have done it. I'd have been like, okay, let me print this out. Let me pack up all my stuff. I'm going to go stay with somebody else. I'm not even supposed to argue with you no more. Not when we've been having conversations and you're refusing to go there with me.
Yeah. Yes. So I would have had a different trajectory.
Yeah, I already know I would have had a different one. So
yeah, it would have definitely started off as a conversation, then transitioned to we're arguing and bickering about it, then transition to okay, all right. If this is what you're gonna do, so that would have been my character arc.
So mine would have been like, so you're a liar. This is what we build in our relationship.
She gonna confront everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was sad though. You could tell she was just so heartbroken. Especially y'all been together 9 years. You can't tell me the truth. You thinking I'm playing you. You know that's not my heart in this situation. I just want you to do better, be better so that we can move forward. And he's like, I don't want to be better. I want to stay stuck. What?
Yeah.
Well, stay there.
Yeah. Her and Maya's were the two like painful ones.
Yeah, I felt that pain. I felt both of them.
Because for Kristen, it's like I've invested at this point my entire adult life in you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you have basically just spit all over it.
Yeah.
And
then don't even seem like you care.
Yeah. At all. No apology.
No
nothing. Like you just said,
if you hear pouring, it's wine. We're drinking Stella Rosa pineapple. We're not a fan fully, but we need to drink it.
Yeah. And then you tried to lie on top of the lie. When I confronted you about the lie, you was about to dive in deep and keep going with the lie. And if what I don't understand about situations like that with people is like, if the person is confronting you with it, then they already have the information.
They have the evidence.
Yeah.
Man.
So why continue to like dig yourself in deeper? Like at this point, you just need to go ahead and confess. Like, yeah, I did that, and it was stupid of me, and it was hurtful to you, and I did it because of these reasons. Yeah. And just get it on out there. But you gonna try to keep on going
and insulting me even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to get your Usher Raymond on. These are our confessions.
Yes.
Just when you're gonna have to get it out. Because that's the best way.
Yeah.
Because I really think when you lead with that, you're able to make amends. It's like you lied to me, then you gonna lie to me again in my face. Oh, so you real bold today.
Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that will change the way you see a person. Because now you've already betrayed me.
Yeah.
So now you're betraying me in my face. And that changes how you can see a person, even if you were to get back together.
Yeah.
Something in the back of your head.
See, this is a prime example of how trust can be torn apart. And then you wonder why people don't trust you or your significant other don't trust you. It's little things like this. Death by a million cuts. Is that what you say?
1,000.
1,000 cuts?
I mean, but some people wait till 1 million.
Yeah.
And then they get there. Yeah, that is an example. And that's what she had. Like that, when she confronted him about submitting his resume to that company, and he proceeded to say, maybe it was the internet. Like you couldn't even come up with a viable lie.
So you don't even think enough about me to create a good lie. Like
you said, the internet.
Right.
He don't think enough about himself to create a good enough lie.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. And in that moment, kind of what it puts in my head, it's like, as a partner, I would feel like lower than dirt at that point. Like, so not only did you lie, you're not coming up with a good lie. You don't even care enough to come up with a good lie to cover yourself up. So you have no regard for me or my feelings. Like I didn't enter in the decision that you made to do this. I didn't enter into this decision at all. There was
you were only thinking about self. This was purely selfish.
Maintaining status quo. And status quo is extremely low in their relationship.
And for her, I would imagine as a character, my view of you, it further solidified my idea that you were a child. If I was already beginning to think it then, that would have been the nail in the coffin at that point.
Yeah.
Because you literally wrote blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
On your resume.
Yeah.
But, somehow, somewhere,
he gets his stuff together.
He gets it together.
Gets the job, which he could have always had. Because now I will say, Kristen did speak life into him. They was having pillow talk time in a previous session, and she was saying how great of an artist he was and how good of a man he was, but he couldn't see it. He didn't know his potential. And he came in. Well, let me rewind. He got the job. He told the boys, he's like, let me call Kristen. He's like, oh, dang.
I can't
She's
even
not talking to me.
And rightfully so. But he got it together. And then he proceeded to go get his woman.
At her open house.
At her open house.
With Tommy.
That they done been to 3 times.
Look, he said, get your woman, man. Get your house, man. No, not my house.
Okay. He cussed him out.
He sure did.
I said, oh, nephew Tommy came out. That wasn't a character.
Okay. But he professes his love for her and then still does it in the most fumbly bumbly way. But I appreciated the gesture that, he's like, look, okay, I'm ready. I understand. Like, now I get it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to put my big boy, drawers on and put my pants and my shoes on and step into manhood versus adult male.
So you just proved to me that you needed me to work through this book for you to change.
If anything, their stories were the definitions of why he wrote this book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At least one of them.
Yeah.
And then their arc in the second movie.
It was an important one, but I don't feel like it was showcase. Well, anybody's really was showcased really well, but their issue that they're facing in the second film is almost comes across as infertility, but they really haven't tried long enough. For anybody that may be thinking of that, you have to struggle with getting pregnant for a year before you can really be classified as having problems with infertility. But she wants to go ahead and have a baby because she's getting older. Obviously, they've probably been together now maybe 12 years because they are actually already married. We didn't get to witness their marriage. But it was interesting because now she was turning into like an anxious attachment style, and that's not really what we saw of her in the first one. And she was just like, we got to do this. We got to do this. And so she wasn't being true to who she was again, but the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah. Which was creating some anxiety in her partner and distance. And it's, if you're not careful with doing that kind of stuff, you can throw yourselves back into your old ways of doing things.
Which I was surprised it didn't throw him back.
He was close.
He was. But he held tight.
And he asked advice.
He did. He held to the end.
He did ask advice. That was big boy of him.
Multiple people. The stable ones. Not the idiots.
And then at the end, we learned that she might be pregnant.
They jumped on that so fast.
It was weird.
Yeah, that's something that we were talking about previously, and we're like, really probably would have helped if they would have had a woman writer, so that it could have been a little bit more thorough, organic, and also like maybe a pregnancy test, because she literally was only realistic. 5 weeks from her last cycle, so she would only, you know what I'm saying? Like she would only be a couple of weeks, maybe. Pregnant.
I was thinking like a couple of days.
Yeah, because you get. You only have like a 3-day window really to get pregnant. It actually is really hard to get pregnant, technically.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was just really weird.
Yep.
Yes.
To track everything. But there's a possibility of a little Italian and chocolate baby. And they make amends and talk about the problems. And so, I mean, they have their happy ending, we're assuming. But, the second movie, we just did it because it went together.
Yeah. We don't have a whole lot for the second movie, guys. This is really just going to be about the first one for the most part.
Yeah. But, before we go on to the next couple, we do want to take a opportunity to break for our sponsors. So we are back, y'all. And so before we get into our other 2 main couples, we want to jump in and kind of talk about Cedric and Gail, as well as Bennett and Tish, just because they are couples in the second film that have a little bit more prominent roles. So we want to make sure we touched on them.
So thinking about Bennett and Tish, I thought they seem to be that couple that has been together for a very long time. And maybe some things have gotten dry in their relationship, just with having the children and getting into the humdrum monotony of living life. It's not that they're unhappy, but that they just live
routinely.
a very structured, like you said, predictable life.
Yeah.
Because it is clear that he respects his wife.
Oh yeah.
That
Loves
he
his babies.
loves his babies and loves her, because he was like, I cook for my wife because I want to, not because I have to. And he was like, I got to get home. So I got to go, guys.
Yeah. He was dropping nuggets the whole film.
Yeah.
You had to make sure you listen because he be sliding stuff in there.
He does.
But I appreciated him grounding the cast. I do feel like outside of that, the actor Gary Owen not getting his credit like he should have in this film, I feel like that's real foul for Will Packer to have done that, because he wasn't even on the poster of the movie. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was just some in his contract where he wasn't a main, but I'm like, he's on there.
Yeah.
So he should have really got his credit. But the man, Gary Owen, is a little trash right now with his family. But
Yeah, he got a lot going on.
he do. But I do like him. Tish is she's the stickler. Like she is the one that's like, okay, this is how this is. She's always coming out with these facts, statistics about things. But then we realize she really a roughneck.
On the inside.
On the inside.
Like
Boy.
she knew all the words to everything. She talking to people crazy, fighting people. Like,
yeah, she
was fun.
really changed into a mom. Where that she suppressed all of that, what you just described, Dr.
Oh,
Wall.
yeah.
just like the kids can't see this.
But Vegas before COVID,
Okay.
you know what the old saying back then, it was definitely what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas. So she was living that life hard. And this is also on the tail end of The Hangover. That film, it was in its popularity day then. So of course they're trying to make Vegas like it's just party and, debauchery everywhere.
Yeah.
Which it really isn't, but
No.
that's what they were trying to make it out to be. So she was out there having a good old time.
She was.
I feel so bad for her. She was like, I'm gonna go, eat
By myself.
by myself, and then I'm gonna go up to the room. No, I'm gonna walk around by myself and take selfies with the statues by myself.
I was like, if y'all not getting this hint.
I was, man.
And I'm glad she got a makeover, because I was like, ma'am, you not supposed to be walking around that 2-piece cardigan set.
That twin set.
Because she really was gonna try it, and with them naturalizer shoes on. I was like, no, you're not. But did y'all see her roll her ankle when she started walking?
Yes, with the gold shoes on.
I
Yes.
said, girl, I'd have bust my head open doing that
Girl.
scene.
Oh yeah, because ankles, they don't recover well.
No.
But I was so glad that they did invite her, and not only invited her, included her in the fun.
Yeah.
So that she really got to be a part of the team. And
Girl, when they was in jail and Candace, when Candace was waking them up, and the woman, and she told us, "Excuse me, sir."
Yeah, they were all asleep the morning after the debacles that went on, and there was a masculine woman hugged up with Tish, and like it just wasn't nothing.
said, "Excuse me, sir." It was a mess.
I was like, "Ma'am, aren't y'all in a female?"
Yes. She said, "Look, she got on a bandana,
A wife beater.
yeah, and like Dickies." So
Like, I don't know.
I don't know. But I did like their little scene at the end when they were trying to do their little role play.
And they were doing
From
Jody.
Baby Boy. Yeah, from Baby Boy. And she was like, I don't like calling you Jody. He said, call me Tyrese.
Talking about your fanny pack is in my pelvis.
I was like, oh man, they're really definitely playing up the white couple here.
Mm-hmm. They are. Yeah.
Very stereotypical. But I thought it was cute though.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated that, it gave them some spark back, for whatever time it would be. Because of course we have no idea what happens when they all go home. But at least for that moment, it put some slight fire back into what seemed like may have been a slow burn.
Mm-hmm. Did y'all see when they got out of the jail and he was looking at her like, Tish?
Oh yeah.
Who are you, woman?
Yeah.
I know she had that red dress on. And it was a bodycon dress too. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
honey,
no.
it showed them shapes, them curves.
Okay. He was like, oh, baby. an eyeball. You know, he the wolf like on the cartoons with the eyeballs like bug out. That was him.
It was.
But on to the toxicity. Even though I hate using that word, but that they are the definition of toxic couple. Because Cedric and Gail, he had her as Gailzilla with flames and fire emojis and stuff, and devil horns in his phone.
Yeah, we later found out that they broke up 15 times.
Okay, yeah. Like, why are y'all still married?
They got divorced.
And and then got back. Yeah,
then got back together. He pretty much complains about his wife the whole time. She's probably complaining about him the whole time. They scream and yell. They have like no communication skills. They just are angry at each other
for whatever reason.
And then he goes into the bathroom, calls her crying, saying he want to come home and he's sorry, and she let him come back.
This is after Bennett's spiel about going home because, you know, he want to go spend time with his family and cook dinner for his wife. He was like, man, I used to, you know, do the little bolognese sauce and I was like, sir, if you want Gail back, just go get him.
And he did.
But you were so excited like 2 days ago because it was D-Day. It was divorce day.
Okay.
You was so excited.
Y'all got a party bus and everything.
But you over there now in the cut in the bathroom having a full-on baby tantrum.
He was struggling the whole time.
That dude came out of the stall.
That's Will Packer. That's the director of the movie.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention to the face because I saw the not washing of the hands.
and him on the back.
Yes.
He was like, the way he was looking in the mirror. I'd been thinking the same thing. First of all, you ain't wash your hands and you touch me?
Yes.
Like, are you crazy?
And you was in the bathroom. You wasn't at the urinal.
You closed stall.
Yes.
All I kept
you was
thinking
at like
about,
one of them Bucky stalls. Like it's from the floor to the the ceiling.
Yes.
All I kept thinking about was COVID. I know he was in there, you know, pooping, but all I kept thinking about was, he got the vid.
It was a mess. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and Gail the whole time it's just bicker, fight. Then they get back together, and then in the second movie they fighting again, and somehow Drake ends up in there. And
I think she's really a interior designer.
Yeah,
that's what I got. That she was working for him, but of course I don't know what.
Why
Cedric's
was he answering
issue?
the phone?
Because it's Drake.
What did he ask him to say again? He said, "Say you some word again."
Oh, what was it?
I can't remember.
Complicate? No.
Whatever it was.
Preoccupied.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was.
Drake be having jokes. he was letting his little Scorpio side out.
He slid that phone behind the couch. I said, I wonder why. I wish they would explore like why he was messing with him like that. Because I'm like, obviously it makes it like they know each other.
Yeah.
Because he was,
I was like, look at Aubrey. Come on, Aubrey.
He don't act a whole lot, but when he does,
he actually is a good actor. I think he need to get back into that.
But yeah, there's not a whole lot there with Cedric and Gail other than they need to stay together. That dysfunctional couple is not gonna work for nobody else but the two of y'all.
That's what you call a twin flame.
The one part of their story that just really hurt my feelings, not like sad, but like it made me cringe, was at the end of the first one where she was dragging him.
Oh yeah.
I was like, ooh, that's so emasculating. I know it was for kicks and giggles or whatever, but it was just like, ooh, Lord, I know some women like that.
Yes. I don't know women like, but I've definitely seen it. I can agree with you, that is super emasculating on top of the size differential between the two of them.
Because Wendy Williams is tall and Kevin Hart is short.
Yeah, I don't know how tall she actually is. I'm assuming at least 5'10" or 5'11".
But compared to him, she looks 6 feet
or taller, and made him look even shorter and smaller.
Yeah.
Wendy Williams is 5'10".
Okay.
And we're going to see how tall Kevin Hart is as soon as I type it in correctly.
Yeah, but when I saw listening to their relationship, it just, go ahead.
It's a somewhere between 5'2" and 5'4".
What?
Okay, Google.
So that's a huge. I'm 5'2", so that's a huge height difference when you have. And then she got a lot of hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm sure she had on heels on,
and then she got them boobs that's not hers. Like it's a lot. You know what I mean? Like she's a force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like you and me standing beside each other. Because I'm 5'9". So
and I'm 5'4". So
it's all
either one of us.
Yeah. And then add heels, man. Yeah. That's a mess. But yeah, that's them. So okay, there's not much else to say about those guys. We go into Michael and Candace.
Yep.
And Miss Loretta.
I forgot. That's a triad. So Michael and Candace kind of are introduced. Well, like we've already said, Candace is best friends with Lauren. And then of course Michael is part of the guy group. We don't know anything about their background other than it seems like Michael and Candace may have gone to high school together. Maybe not in the same grade, but they went to the same school.
Yeah, he's younger.
And they saw each other again in the library,
getting a book
or a bookstore or something like that.
She was getting a Steve Harvey book, and he was getting the Immortal Sales of Henrietta Lack. Is that the name of the book?
I didn't pay attention to what book.
I didn't pay attention to his
y'all know I like
good
books.
Looking at the background.
That's my job.
But then he proceeds to confess like his crushing on her when they were in high school, and she's kind of like, okay, like weird, because it's really, I mean, that is a very interesting intro, especially there's some random dude standing between us.
That's what I was like, can y'all just switch?
Yeah.
And he was looking so uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like, ma'am, either can you go back in line or can you ask, can he cut? Like one of the two. I was like, this is really weird. So they get to the front of the line and they do the classic movie thing. Can we go out sometime? Yeah, come pick me up.
Well, she said no first because of her son.
And then he was like, that's all right.
Which I appreciate that. But we later find out that he actually is the product of a single parent, not by choice. Father died. And then she is a divorcee.
And he plays the role of the mama's boy for the 4 characters that were listed earlier in the film, and he is
the mama's boy.
A mama's boy.
They are enmeshed.
Yes, it's that's what sickening. I wrote in like capital letters on my my notes. Enmeshment.
But that also makes sense why he likes older women.
That's true.
It does. And so it seemed like Candace was really into him from once she kind of got over the, he was okay with her child part, that she was really into him from the get-go. Like there was no like kind of preconceived issues or anything like that. And he genuinely seemed like he was into her as well. He just prioritized the people in his life as mama first. And Lauren, well, this was a little bit later, but she also had to hold her accountable too about
mama's boy.
Then you need to make your stance known. Put your stake down.
One thing I didn't like on the boys' side is that they were discouraging Michael from liking her, like genuinely. Well, not all of them. The 2 idiots,
because she had a son.
But then they was talking about her body and all that kind of stuff.
That's one of the parts that I did not like. That they were talking about her body. Like, I bet she got a big butt too. Seriously.
Well, then he did show them a photo of her
because
they commented
Michael and Dominic. They kept saying, "Don't double date. Don't double date."
Yeah, I didn't like that they were discouraging him from dating her because it's like, first of all, y'all don't know this woman, and do y'all know y'all's friend? Like, y'all know y'all friend is.
He ain't scholar either. He a mama's boy.
Right.
And y'all know that.
Y'all know that. How he doesn't know that, I don't understand. But because even most mama's boys know that they're mama's boys. And they will proudly confess that they're mama's boys. So I didn't understand why he seemed like, I'm not a mom. When they said it, he was like, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. What?
Yeah, because I'm like, you go over there. Nothing wrong with this, but you go over there every Sunday. The part that's wrong is you got your mama still doing all of your
laundry,
chores. She's cooking all your favorite foods. You sleeping over in a room that still looks like your childhood bedroom. Like it's a little creepy. It's a little, Criminal Mindsy.
Well, like she said, Norman Bates. Like, yes, it's definitely got psycho vibes going on. So, I feel like there's not a whole lot necessarily to their particular issues other than him being a mama's boy.
Yeah. But that mama?
Right. Ooh. Because when they were together,
they were fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, guys. It was just whenever mom would call and introduce, which then forced him to, once they all found out about the book, it then forced him to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Let me not say force. He chose to lie.
Yeah, because he had his mom saved in his phone as work. Mm-hmm. So he lied too, but I guess I'm not saying that his lie wasn't big, because it was, because he still lied. A lie is a lie. But I think because I think in the back of his mind, he did know that he was a mama's boy, and it would cause friction between his mama and Candace. Mm-hmm. Or at least if he didn't realize he was a mama's boy, he realized that it was some tension between his mama and Candace.
I think in this relationship he realized it, but in them previous ones where he was on the date with Carrie Hilson, and you done went on a Valentine's date with your mama and your girl. God. That's weird.
I was like, what? Well, yeah, that was too much.
First of all, I don't even know how you went. I would not have gone.
She probably didn't know.
I know, you just show up and then it's like,
and I would have left.
Because that looks like what his mama would do. Like, she was just mad disrespectful. So,
yeah.
Oh, my girl.
Like, she was so disrespectful to the point where it's like, even if you were a mama's boy, you had to know that was out of line. Mm-hmm. When she met her and she said Candace and then still proceeded to call her Tandis.
Like, she didn't.
First of all, that's not a name that you really mess up like that, though. Candace? Right.
Like, she was like, I'm gonna knock you off this peg. And the thing is, we not in the same position. You don't do for your son what I do for your son.
So we're not in competition at all.
No. And I hope you don't want to do that for your son.
Right.
Because that's a whole nother set of issues.
Because that's just gross and pervy.
Yes. So I'm like, even in that first meeting, like, he was looking at his mom like he was kind of caught. It was almost like he was caught off guard that she was acting like that.
I think it was a rougher version because it was more sneaky when we saw it a little bit with Carrie Hilson's character. Mm-hmm. And now it's like blatant, in your face type of stuff. I'm like, God dang.
Yeah.
Like, how are you okay with treating another person like that?
For literally no reason. Literally, this woman just walked in your house and said hello. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. And you came with the heat like, and then your son just like, oh, I think she likes you.
Sir, is that how she treat people that she like?
My guy. I don't know what you're seeing. I don't know what like looks like to you. Because to me,
looks like abuse.
Okay. Looks like she's trying to push me out the door.
It looks like messy.
Mm-hmm. And then y'all go on this tour and you show me your bedroom and you full grown. Like, you are clearly at least in your late 20s. And your bedroom still got footballs and soccer balls and trophies and
you got the old school wood bed. Can't even fit it
in
no more.
It's frozen in time.
And you getting ready you said, I'm getting ready to wash your clothes.
And no, she said, come get your laundry. And he was like, Mom, I think I need some more socks or something.
Either way, unhealthy.
You told me that you sleep here on Sundays. And it's like, wait, what? Wait, you come stay the night? Y'all live in the same city. So why do you need to come over here and stay? Like, it was just too much. And that's enough to make some people run right then. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, she didn't.
Yeah.
But
she tried.
She did, but her friend was like, nope. You said you wanted somebody that, accepted your son. And but he does.
He also came to get her too at the family reunion.
Later, yes, he did.
Have to.
Yeah.
Like, the way, like, I'm not supposed to just sit there and you're going to let somebody do me like that. Because that shows me you're not protected.
That was after she found out he was lying about because his mom called and
No, I'm talking about mom talking to her crazy, like in the first meeting.
The first meeting.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you don't have to like annihilate your mom or anything like that, but like, please say something like, "Hey, mom, that's not okay."
Yeah.
And even if you don't say it in front of me, you can wait till I leave, take it to the side. I don't care what you do, but it needs to be a discussion.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was like, bruh, you ain't saying like nothing.
This part right here, that part made me realize, oh, I'm so happy I love my in-laws.
Yeah. That was a requirement for me, though. It was a requirement that for me that I got along with my in-laws and that my spouse got along with my parents.
Yep.
Because if we're going to be doing things together, I want to be able to actually do things together
and be comfortable
and enjoy that time.
Yes.
Not like, well, nah, I ain't going over there. I'll see you when you come back, like that kind of thing.
That's already tension.
I agree with that. That's a requirement because I'm not. Y'all know my mama.
So
my mama will knock somebody out if they harm either of us. So I'm just like, nope, I don't need those type of problems. I need people to like each other.
Yeah, that's important.
And when they find out, of course, when they find out about the book, then he commences to start lying. And that's, changes his mom's number to work. And
he did a switcheroo on her too, because she wanted to talk to him.
He did.
About ending the relationship and the problems with mom. Because you're like, hey, we need to talk. And that, that's classic for something is going wrong in a relationship. But he flipped the switch on her. Like two can play that game.
He did.
And he was like, I want to make you my number one lady. And he had a lot of the behaviors, but it's the setting a boundary for me with the mama. That was the problem.
Right.
You can say verbally and treat me like that when your mama not around, but when your mama around, then what?
Because that's going to be the telltale.
Right.
Absolutely. And then, she starts to feel like something ain't quite right here. And of course he dissuades and covers and like, oh no, it's not what you're thinking. But she can already feel like, no, but you said you was gonna
said you was going to work last night.
Yeah, gaslighting. Because that's what that was. Trying to change somebody's reality and make themselves think that what they thought was not true. And she just laid back like, no. So then she turned TV off. But, when the second phone call for work, quote unquote, work comes through, she realizes the mama. I thought she handled this situation maturely.
She handled it like a mom.
You
know what I mean? Like with somebody with a kid.
Right. Because once she protected her son and had him go inside so that he wouldn't, witness whatever was about to happen. And she just simply told him, yeah, no, you got to go. Like, I'm not going to compete with your mom and deal with you lying to me.
I agree.
So I appreciated the boundary.
Yeah.
It was sad to see Duke, though. I was like, oh, that's your little buddy. That's, growing into like a father figure for you. So I know that hurt him to not, have him around for those short couple of days or weeks.
So doesn't he go to his mom's house after that?
Yeah.
And we learned that mom has been also reading the book.
She's been sneaking with the
and
deacon.
doing the 90 days with the deacon. Cause she was like, oh shoot, hold on, wait.
On her 90th day, 91st day. Okay.
And she was like, son, you got to get up out of here. See, that was a thing on, I wonder if it was What's Love Got to Do with it, but it was like Mama's got to have a life too.
That's baby boy.
Baby boy. Okay, was it? I feel because I thought she had said something. Yes, she definitely said that in Baby Boy, but I felt like she said something similar to that in What's Love Got to Do with it. But that was basically what was going on there. It was very okay for mom to have her life, and she wanted her space and to have. This is my boundary. But then when it came to her son, she was not okay allowing him to live his life and be separate from her because she was trying to get him up out of there like, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
And she didn't want to share him, but she also wanted to control the other things that he was allowed access to.
Yeah. And then of course, he leaves and stuff. And eventually he goes to the family reunion that he was supposed to be going to.
The Hall family reunion.
Not King. And professes his love for her and that she's the number one, woman in his life, and he's going to do right by her.
He was looking real scrumptious to me. He's a smaller man. He ain't really like the type of body build that I like, but he was looking real sexy in these two movies for some reason. I don't know why.
So then as into the second movie for them, essentially the whole purpose of the second movie is them getting married and all of the kind of shenanigans that take place around the two of them getting married, which also includes further destruction by his mother.
Oh God. First of all, I was like, why would you let his mama be the wedding coordinator?
Well, she wasn't. The white lady was the wedding coordinator, but she offered money to help.
Who, mom?
Mom.
Oh, okay.
She offered money to help with not help, but to do the invitations or not the invitations.
The flowers,
but the things that you look at. The
itinerary
program, yeah. And so she misprinted her name on purpose to Candace again. Obviously, they've been together for some years. You know what her name is. And then trying to convince her that she shouldn't want white flowers because it's her second marriage. Ma'am, if you throat punch
I was like,
you.
that literally has nothing to do with anything. And first of all, the only reason people wear white now is because of Queen Elizabeth when she got married. Before then, people wore color to their weddings. Wearing white to a wedding is a very new concept.
Yeah, if you think about people who are still very much in touch with the roots of their culture, like say Asian cultures, they typically wear red. They might have a white wedding because everybody's Americanized, but typically they have their red ceremony, tea ceremony, and things like that. Different African cultures, they have the white wedding and the cultural, you know what I'm saying? So no, ma'am, stop it.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a very Americanized view of what you should wear to your wedding. And it was just disrespectful.
I just don't understand why they let his mom have any part in it. Like,
she probably was doing better, And Candace seems like somebody that's nice. So she was probably like, I want her to be involved.
That's your mother.
I'm surprised her mama didn't step up and say something. I would have really liked that
Baby.
a little bit because I know my mama would have mollywopped her. But I do like that.
Who you talking to?
Michael was checking a little bit. Mom, this is Candace's wedding. If this is what Candace wants, this is what she gonna get.
He did the gentle check first.
Yeah.
He did the respectful, like, I'm growing into my man and getting out of my mama boy. Yeah. He did the gentle check, but at the end, he did the grown man check.
That's the check I like.
Miss Loretta, she don't know how to take it easy. She needed hard.
She did. And I was like, even when she got with Allstate, she didn't. He still didn't take it down. Yeah, I was like, he still didn't take that down a couple notches.
It was just for the distraction. That's really what it is.
I mean, yeah, it was a distraction, but I needed you to get yourself together because you had a grown and sexy man. Why were you even still paying attention to this? Because this was right here, that bone structure. For me,
because that's a nice man.
Yes. He's very suave.
He does. His voice is
all of it.
What Allstate?
Distinguished. My God. I digress. And yeah, she was just on one from taking over the bridal, the bachelorette party.
My God, that
both parties. Don't say just bachelorette because she also checked
when she came
Cedric.
in, yes,
she did.
Talking about his package.
Yeah,
ma'am, stop looking at that baby's package.
Okay,
he the same age as your child.
Yes.
And
you somebody put that up. Don't know about it. It's nothing attractive about that. That's because you a grown up woman.
And how you got a key to his room that's $44,000 a night.
Okay. Yeah, she just was really doing this is the definition of doing the most.
Yeah.
Across the board.
And then you just bum rush the bachelorette party. Like,
yeah.
You don't even like this girl, but you want
to be involved. Well, it's all about control. You know, because I feel my control slipping away. You know, he's been my baby, my possession. I mean, that's really what it was. He was my possession, and you're stealing it away from me.
Even though I don't like all that part, if they would have did what she was asking them to do, they would have got married though. The first time, yes.
I mean, yes.
Yes and no, but I think
it wouldn't be as memorable though.
Yes.
She needed to give and take. It's nothing wrong with her wanting to be included and involved in it, but you can't just come hijack something. Like it's very it's giving narcissism. So stop it.
Yes, it definitely was.
Yeah.
And I agree, like, first of all, it's like people love their mamas. We love our mamas. But the bachelorette party is really for the friends.
Yeah.
You know, the bridal shower is for the mamas. You
Unless
know,
you got a turn up mama. Now, if you do got a turn up mama, that's a little bit different situation. But
I still wouldn't even want my mama, even if I had a turn up mama.
But I'm saying for
but
people that do, you know, they'd be okay. But
for the mama he had,
no, she was very churchy. She played a very stereotypical, judgmental church person.
She did
with the bad wigs. And y'all know we love us some Jennifer Lewis, but
yes,
in this instance, Jennifer, you was wrong.
You was. You doing wrong.
You doing wrong.
So she bum rushes the bachelorette party, but they get out of it because all state.
He took one for the team, literally.
He did. But he seemed like he was into her though.
But then
because they said he had been previously flirting with her at something else, some other event they had.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, so he had been flirting with her because that's why she wanted him to come, because she was like, oh, he was already flirting with her. So yes.
But when they got to their room and she was like, I'm an old school, child, old school, nothing. You better let this grown man with this bone structure and that voice come in your room.
Because every time they started, they theme music was between the sheets. As soon as he started talking, that stuff just I was like, I wish we could really in real life just have theme music. Like, I'm like, what would my theme song be? If you know what I'm saying, like, what would be my music if I started talking?
Something straight out of Houston.
Slow, loud, and banging all in my trunk. Yeah, that would be me. So, of course, she got her groove on.
Yeah,
as we see later when she wake up and realize, like, oh my God,
girl, you better just nope, no guilt. I repent.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, God, that I don't feel guilty in my heart. But do you see what you put right here?
What do you expect? What do you expect?
Side note, their makeup was horrible in these two movies.
Who's?
Everybody looked ashy. The under eye. Like, how you going to mess up Michael Ealy under eye? He already light. He got colors.
But, you know, in apparently 2014 when this movie came out, the second one, or even 2012, you know, makeup
it wasn't where it is.
It wasn't where it is today.
And people wasn't really doing makeup well.
Or hair. Now, I am glad that Gabrielle Union has new people doing her hair, because her hair used to look really bad in movies.
Used to.
It would always, you could always see her tracks and stuff like that. I'm like, who was not getting the CG together?
But I will say, Taraji and Megan Good,
yeah, their
hair was on point.
Yeah,
not them eyebrows, but that's
different. We didn't say eyebrow. I said hair.
I even think Candace's was, is it Candace? Regina Hall.
Yeah, hers was good.
She normally has good hairstyles.
Yeah,
Taraji.
But yeah, she was top tier.
Yeah,
it was piece de resistance. But as we can get back to Michael and because we done totally went to the left. So of course, as the second movie goes, there's all kinds of, like we said, this is basically The Hangover for Black people. You know, everybody get high, drunk, there's fights, they get in jail. I'm surprised nobody tooth got knocked out. And there was no tigers. But they get out of jail.
Black people don't do that.
Yeah.
Tigers, come on now.
They should have had a dog.
Yeah. Or a cat that was following or something. Not no tiger. That looked like a big cat. Let me go the other direction.
Okay.
Yeah. So they get out of jail, and unfortunately they miss their time for the wedding because the coordinator told them, do not be late. This is the peak of wedding season. Yeah. So it must have been like June because, that's like the wedding month.
Yeah, I promise y'all, like I told y'all earlier, when I saw that scene of them running, and I was like, oh God, I'm so glad that wasn't us.
No, we was on time. I was there early. I wasn't even part of the party, but I was like, okay, what you need me to do? You need me to carry something? What am I doing?
We was on time.
Yes.
They said, and go.
Yes.
But they missed their wedding, and of course, the bride would be devastated, and the rest of the family, the rest of their friends would be hurt as well. But as the bride, like, you've been anticipating this day, you've been dreaming about this day with the person that you're with, and then to see it just literally, there's nothing
crumble.
That you can,
like it's nothing you can do
because and it's that and the mama stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On top of each other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When she was sitting on those steps, I was like, oh. The pain.
Man, I was just so hurt for her.
And then, Mama, you have the nerve. You have the nerve to come in after all of that and tell me that I should leave your son alone. That's enough for me to just haul off and slap you. And I don't condone violence, but I'm gonna choose it today. Because you have disrespected me for the last time.
And this ain't the time to disrespect me.
Right, because I'm already emotional because we didn't get married.
First of all.
I done went to jail on the night before my wedding. I was in jail when we woke up, missed my wedding, and now you going to tell me that I need to leave him because basically I'm not good enough for him and I'm not going to bring nothing good to his life? Nah.
To quote the mummy, bad girls get their comeuppance.
Because we about to be on the ground rolling.
I'm going to snatch that wig off of her head and commence the beating.
But I was so glad that he heard it.
Yeah, I was too.
He came around that corner with them empty coffee cups and was not having none of it. Now, I will say, people, when y'all do props in movies, do the real prop. Because this man sitting down these coffee cups that he went and got from downstairs in the expensive lobby, and it ain't got no coffee in it. It's just hollow.
Just put some water in there.
Yeah.
So at least it sounds real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he then lays into his mama.
See, that's
badly.
Yeah.
But it was all true. It was
necessary.
Yes, it was all true. Because she was being selfish. She was being narcissistic. She was being degrading.
And rude.
Uppity.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about what her son needed and wanted. Just thinking about what she wanted.
And what did you want it for? Because he got to live his own life. You ain't going to be here forever.
And you getting more people to love. You getting a grandson that probably would love and adore you. You get to spoil him the same way you spoiled your son.
Redemption child.
Yeah, you getting a daughter in love that is going to be so nice and sweet to you. Like you're not getting a bad situation here.
Yeah. And you just, again, it was selfishness, and my needs outshine and outweigh the needs and wants of everyone else around me. But then got the nerve to stand there and look shocked, like he was saying all this. That's what I couldn't understand. Ma'am, you knew what you was doing.
Right.
Like, this is not like you just was on autopilot and you had no idea, no control. I'm just a little robot walking around. You knew specifically what you went in there to say. You had planned it in your head. Yep. You probably was practicing it in the mirror. And then you went in there and said this to this woman and then act surprised when your son come in here and lay into you.
Now, she did have a black mama, though.
Who?
Because she did have one of them who you talking to moments, but
it didn't work.
He was grown at this point, ma'am.
Well, I think she was shocked that he was actually standing up for himself, his fiance, and setting boundaries.
Yeah.
And because, he wasn't doing it at first.
No.
So that should have told her, hopefully it did, because she did come and apologize, but that should have told her he really do love this girl.
Yeah.
Because he ain't did that with nobody else.
No.
And he gonna love her now in spite of you.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't matter anymore in this equation.
Yeah. And I definitely appreciate the fact that Candace still gave perspective. She a better woman than me. I might have been able to get his perspective later.
Yeah.
But not like in the moment.
Yeah,
Not when
right
it's
after.
that it's too emotionally charged in the first place. But I appreciate that she gave the perspective of being a mom and don't disinvite her from the wedding and different things like that. But Miss Loretta, she did need to come in there and apologize, and thankfully she did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she was only able to give that perspective because she's a mother. See, I'm not a mother, so I can say that I don't know if I would have been able to do that right then, but being a mother, that's probably something different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't have children either, so I don't know if I would have had that perspective. I think logically I would understand that, but emotionally, definitely in the moment, I don't know if I would have wanted her to come and apologize to me, because I think I would have been in the headspace of it doesn't even matter. Yeah. Like you said what you had to say. I know how you truly feel. So then what is there for you to apologize for? You know, and I know now. I know where you stand, and there's nothing else for us to do. And I would have just been like, okay, so then I'm just not going to deal with you. And the thought now would be, do I want to marry this man knowing that me and his mother will never get along?
Mm-hmm. And that's something she said throughout the movie. Yeah,
because like I said, for me, getting along with my in-laws was a requirement for me. Mm-hmm. So now knowing, what do I do now? Because I love this person, but it's clear that our relationship with his mother is not going anywhere. So where does that leave me in this scenario?
Yeah. I think her apologizing helped to bridge that gap for them to go ahead and get married that day. Luckily, little Cedric, he finally became the best man, because he had been effing it up the whole time. Like he sucked.
Yeah.
Spending all his money on his wife's company car, doing all that kind of stuff. But luckily they was able to, the butler was able to find, a spot for them to get married. And it was really pretty. To me, it looked like it was probably prettier than the original spot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know. I was like, look at Declan.
Declan.
Yeah. He really came through. So of course they get married, and then, they live happily ever after. When everybody got to speak now or forever hold your peace,
they stared at mama.
Like, say something if you want to.
She's like, what? Like, you weren't just the problem. I do appreciate also in his vows how he put in that he was going to be a good father to Duke. I was like,
yes. Yeah. Way to include and make it a family.
And I did like that Cedric was like, go up there and hug your mama, boy. I was like, he sounded like a real father at that point.
Yeah, he was Kevin.
Yeah.
He wasn't Cedric.
Yeah. So then that's them. That's the end of I almost said Maya, Michael, and Candace. Any final thoughts about them? Or y'all feel like that was?
No, but I definitely think it would have been beneficial for them to do some premarital counseling. And so when you do premarital counseling, you can definitely call back.
It's so much going on in the world right now, and we could all use some extra support. At Balanced Beacon, we offer counseling services for individuals, couples, families, and groups. If you're in Texas, give us a call at 214-396-6503 or visit our website at www.balancedbeacon.com for more information. Okay, so we're going to move on to our last couple. And these are we're going to save the best for last, because this is probably for a film that doesn't have a whole lot of like depth to it. Mm-hmm. This particular couple set had the most within this movie, and had the biggest potential to really go somewhere as far as if you wanted to really dive in on a film like this. Mm-hmm. So we start off with Maya, and played by Megan Good, and
looking beautiful.
She's a very beautiful woman.
Not the eyebrows, but she's beautiful.
That's probably her one area, but structurally, she's a beautiful woman. So we are introduced to her because she's had a fling of sorts, with Chris Brown,
aka Alex,
who was called Alex, and I was like, why does he look like a cornball in this movie?
But he was cute, Chris. Still in this film,
it was just something I was like, that does not look like. I knew it was Chris Brown, but I was like, something about his face is looking weird to me.
He looked like he'd been through stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe because he was heavier
and healthier.
Yeah, because I was like, that something is looking weird to me, and he didn't have all the tattoos that he has now either.
Yeah,
but anyway, he played her. She went and got them some coffee, and she was ready to kind of have like a little breakfast and talk. And
she went into the restroom and got undressed. He was in there getting dressed.
Yes, quick.
That scene was so hilarious.
Yes.
I was like, when I first watched it the first time, I was like, what is he doing? I know he's not about to ditch her.
Yes, he put them clothes on so fast and then took both.
Now he'd got fought, sir.
Both
you know how much
coffees.
coffee is. From
both
Starbucks.
Of the coffees.
Yeah, both of them.
And I was like, that's so foul. So foul.
And didn't even know the girl name. The whole movie.
He called her
Everything.
M name in the book.
Except
Monica.
for her name.
Monique.
Melanie.
It's Maya, fool.
And then would actually shout at her like he knew her. Like, hey, girl, hey.
And called her baby.
And didn't want nothing from her. The epitome of messing with you.
Yes.
Yes.
Like poking the bear. And you can just see her desire for love and connection. Like when I was watching, their particular story, the song "Ready for Love" by India Ari kind of came to mind for me.
Ready for love. Yes, I love that song.
Yeah.
It's going to be somewhere in a wedding.
Yeah. It's just like it was hiding from her. Like she's like, why is love like not finding me? Like I want to give. I have so much inside that I want to give out. But for some reason, I keep attracting F-boys.
Yeah. And we can tell that she does tend to lead with her sexuality and sensuality, which, me as the resident sex therapist, I ain't got no problem with that. But you do need to ask yourself, like, what am I wanting from these relationships, and am I properly vetting them?
Yeah.
And she was not.
Nah.
And I also think that there was a little bit of an issue of she thought she knew what she wanted, but also wasn't quite sure if that's really what it was.
I wonder if it was that she thought she knew what she wanted, but kept getting hurt by what she wanted. So then she got confused on what she wanted.
I could see that.
It's a possibility.
Absolutely. But she also finds Steve Harvey's book and learns about the 90-day rule.
Yes.
And this is where we meet Zeke. Well, let's explain first what the 90-day rule is. The 90-day rule suggests that you should not engage in sexual relations with that woman for at least 90 days.
Because when you on the job, you can't get your insurance until after 90 days. So why not make a man wait until after 90 days?
But the purpose of it is to really get to know the individual that you're dealing with, so you can identify, is this somebody that I want to give my time, my body to, instead of it just being like just going with the flow. Instead, you need to think about it, because everybody not qualified in multiple ways to enter you.
Yes. So then we have Zeke, who is the player,
the freak. He's the epitome. If y'all saw Players Club, is it Players Club? How to Be a Player. If y'all saw How to Be a Player,
Bill Bellamy's
with Bill Bellamy, like he is the new version, because he was very suave and debonair, like Bill Bellamy's character initially.
He loved the ladies, and it looked like the ladies loved him.
Yeah.
But also hated him too. Afterward. And he's all about hit it and quit it. He has no intentions on wifing nobody or even cuffing anybody at all. Like he is just like, I'm out here living my best life.
Unhealed.
Yes. From whatever. And also rejection from the music industry, I would imagine. And he plays the game like we saw at the bar with Kelly Rowland.
He did good.
Yeah, she tried. She definitely tried to not fall into the, to the spider web, but then she did. Because I was like, what he did is he did the deprecate and save kind of role. And I was like, you fell for that? Like, he put you down and then you was like, oh. So he could build you back up? I was like, oh my God. But anyway. But later on, he meets Maya at a bar again. And
she's with Sonia.
She's with Sonia, and they're actually talking about the 90-day rule. And he comes up and does what he does. She tried to hold out
his
too.
Little slickster comment in there.
No, she was going for his throat.
She was
doing too much. But
he was
what
ahead.
She thought he was. So.
But it seemed like he, even though she was doing a lot, just like Kelly, like he don't run from that.
No,
which makes him more attractive.
Yeah, and
he go toe to toe.
It knocked him off his game a little bit. Not like game is what he's putting out there, but it was like a little jarring to him.
Oh, because she was like knife.
Because she was like blinking like she was crazy.
And he was like, well, give her 16 of them then.
Yeah.
I mean, because it is funny. Like, it's enough to, like, catch you.
Yeah.
Which is really what it is. You just need enough to be able to get a pinky in somebody. And then, slowly I can get the rest of my claws in you eventually.
Yeah.
Which it seems like that's kind of his method. I just need to hook just enough and then I get you.
Yeah. And we didn't say this for all of y'all who don't know who Romany Malco is. He is the black bald guy that plays in This Is Us. So that's his character that most people know him from now.
See, I don't watch that show. So
wait, what?
Is it This Is Us or the other one?
It's
the other one where the husband jumped and completed unalive. It's dang it, what is it called?
Yeah, I don't know.
I watched This Is Us. I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember him in that movie. I mean, in that show.
Chemo Brain.
What is because I just started watching it actually, but I can't remember the name of it.
It is A Million Little Things.
Yes.
Oh, my bad, y'all.
See, this is well outside the type of shows that I watch, so my brain is like,
It's a hard one. It pull at your heart.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, okay.
I've only seen certain clips because I ain't got time to be
think
crying.
I only seen one. Maybe that was the one where I was like,
he unalived himself.
See, y'all know I watch horror.
You might like
action, sci-fi, and superheroes. That's about all I watch.
I read books.
I do both. I read books and I watch shows.
So then they go out on a date and she commences to start putting her rules out there. She said, oh, I don't get in cars, or I don't go on dates for guys that don't open doors or something like that.
Yeah, she didn't want to be a chirp girl, and she didn't want to be a sports fish. So she wanted to make sure that she was putting forth good effort, which tells me that she had previously fallen into those traps with herself. But poor little Sonia, she just airheading it up.
She was like, what's wrong with being a trip girl? What's wrong with being a sports fish? And I'm like, if you want a long-lasting relationship,
those things do not work.
You can't stay there.
Yeah. But you know what? I think that comes with like what he was saying to require more. Because anytime I go on a date, I would always step to the side. And if you didn't open the door, then this is over. You don't have chivalry.
I haven't really ever had that problem, thank goodness.
I haven't either.
Like, that's just what they was doing. But y'all know I ain't dating about 11 years, so.
Yeah, I think I've always looked for other things. So opening the door has never been something that even like came to mind for me as something that I would want. So for me, it wouldn't have bothered me because I would have automatically just walked up to the car. Like I wouldn't have waited for him to open the door for me because I don't even wait for that now. And to me, it feels weird when my door is opened for me. Like I feel like what, dude, move, I can do it. Like by the time you done all this, I could have been in the car already. So I don't think for me that particular criteria would have meant anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I required that from get-go from my husband. He opens every door and every car door. Thank you, baby.
Yeah, see, but that's for me. It don't mean nothing for me.
Mm-hmm.
But so that I would have been the Sonia in that situation. I'd have been like, okay, so all right, he unlocked the door. Okay, let's go. But I think some of the other things that she wanted and would have required, definitely spoke more to kind of what you want long term.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want someone that is going to invest in you. You want someone that's going to
have conversation with you, get to know you. I mean, just because
talk about them caves.
Yes.
Plato's, not Aristotle's.
Absolutely. And it was good that she was setting some standard for herself on something.
Yeah.
I think that ultimately that was the most important thing for her, regardless of whatever the standard was, is that she was setting something different than what she normally did.
Yeah. I think what was hard about their first date is watching him keep her at arm's length and her trying so hard to be like, okay, well, talk to me. And you could tell she was getting a little frustrated and stuff like that, but she kept going at it. And it wasn't until they got to the end of the date where they connected on music, because we learned later that her uncle is in the music industry and Zeke had a band or a group at one point, and so she asked him to play. Well, they play Jodeci
and acted like
it was just the coldest thing ever,
and that she wouldn't know who. I was like,
it's not that.
Are they
old,
pretending
sir?
like people don't know who Jodeci is in this movie?
I mean, now if we're looking at it from the perspective of his real age, then that would make sense, because Romany is actually old. Like he's in his 50s. Like he's older.
I know, but
I'm saying like from you a young person and I'm an older person, but they looked and acted like they were in the same
age bracket.
age group. So I didn't take that from that. But come to find out, he got this band and group, and he done had a whole album, and the song pretty okay. The lyrics, not the
no, his album didn't go nowhere.
Yeah. I'm just saying the lyrics was okay for the song, but I was like, okay, who broke your heart? And that's exactly what she said too, because you can tell the whole song just sound like he's sad.
I was like, ooh, what's going on with this song?
Yeah, I think for her, I think she was one of those. It was one of those situations where if you engage, if you learn how to communicate and have a relationship, then you possibly could change. I'm not talking about dating people to change them and stuff like that, but you could definitely see a difference in someone when you actually begin to engage with them.
Yeah, he was so checked out of the dating process that he didn't even realize that he truly liked this girl,
and he realized he was dating.
Yeah, he thought he was still pursuing.
He knew he was dating when he talking about them 5 dates. For a nightcap. Yep.
And then your nightcap turned out to be coffee and cookies.
And he thought,
which is a nightcap.
Did y'all see him take them protections out to look at them to see which one he was about to use? Neither, sir. Neither of them.
Well, I thought it was interesting that he put the gold one back in his pocket, which is normally what men would keep out.
But I'm trying to figure out, are you saying that about her? Or are you saying that about you?
That's a deep dive right there. Because I was like, ooh, he put the gold one back? Because, that ego thing be real sometimes. And it's like, people, you've seen people put their entire head in a condom, right? So what are you doing?
It stretches. Just make sure you know how to put it on.
It's latex. Like, you ever seen latex gloves? Like, they stretch Armstrong out here.
But I also thought it was good about her, too, is that she even changed the way she dressed. Because she had that, I think she had a black little sexy little dress on at first.
She had to. Yeah. But she was the most undergarment showing this person in this movie.
Girl, well, I know this is on down a couple of dates, but when they was in the car and she had them
granny panties, I was like, some people do not care about them granny panties, especially with this whole thing where men loving the moo-moos.
Oh
that
I've
women be
seen that.
wearing.
Yes.
I'm like, they don't be caring. They will go and take them right on off of you.
That's why I was like, ma'am, that's probably the least of his concern.
But see, of
she
course she
thought it was
did that.
important.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it did that. She did
To
that for
prompt
her.
Mm-hmm.
So he wouldn't see it.
And they was raggedy.
Mm-hmm.
But it did help her.
Yeah.
Because she was like, sorry. Good night. I gotta go, bye. And he was like, wait, what? Oh, you gonna leave me out here like this?
Yep.
Yes. So, they get to their dates, and of course, once the guys learn about the book, this is when he does his super flip and change. So this is where I said I have two thoughts about it.
But wait. Before you go into that, he didn't flip. He was like, I'm done. He was going to dump her.
Oh, that's right.
He
was
going
to
like,
dump her.
Hey, I have a surprise.
We're
going
to
see
with the concert.
John Legend.
That's right.
And so I think that's when he officially was won over. Like he was like,
yep,
she a nice person.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's when he flipped.
He did.
Mm-hmm. But what's the name, little brother? Did not make it easy for Zeke to freak. Because she's sitting there looking like, what you gonna call me, Zeke?
I know. And they did the still shot on both of them.
Yeah.
Back and forth. And he said, my girlfriend. And she was like,
That's when he won her over.
That was it. That was all she wrote.
And then he said, I love you.
Mm-hmm. And it was 70 days, not 90.
Okay.
And he meant it. That's the thing.
Because that was spontaneous.
He was like,
yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, shit.
He's like, I got him.
Mm-hmm. Because it was spontaneous. She did something for him that was truly about his goal, his dream, and something that he had been really working towards he had kind of let it go, really.
Yeah.
And
getting back in that writing, because that's where you make your money.
Yeah. So it was real.
Mm-hmm.
That really came out. So that's why I say I feel two ways about him.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I think what he did was slimy.
Yeah.
But I think he also really did love her. He just didn't know that he loved her.
Yeah.
I think it was running. He wasn't used to it. And he had been hurt by the girl, whoever he made that song by. So, of course, he probably put that wall up thicker than thieves.
Yeah.
Wounds and scars.
There you go. So then, of course, as she calls it, got the cookie. And it started out, I was like, oh. Because I hadn't watched this in so long. And he had the little note there, and I was like, oh.
I thought, yes.
I was like, okay.
Yes.
Woo. He just went to go get breakfast or coffee or whatever. I can't remember what he wrote on there.
Breakfast.
But then I was like, why are you going through his drawers?
Because this was her first night staying over there.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't understand that. I was like, why are you going
shouldn't have been doing that.
Why are you going through his drawers? But, plot. So then she sees the book. And she now knows, because of course now they highlighting and circling stuff in the book. So now she know that he done found out about the 90-day plan. So now she feel played.
And she was. I mean, not in the actual situation, but,
Yeah, he started off playing her. But then.
By that time, he wasn't.
Right. That's why I say I feel two ways about his. It's a little more complicated because he started off doing that. But then it became real. And she was hurt, boy. She acted that scene too. I was like, "Go, Megan."
She did.
Megan can cry. Like them those tears right before they shoot out your eyes. She can do that.
Those well up tears. Man, I was like, oh, she did that. Because that looked painful. Like you played me. It did. Like it was like for real. Like you played me for a fool.
She was sitting on them steps waiting. She done threw this pole book at Romany. I mean at Zeke.
It was hard. Because it's like now I've invested so much in the belief that you were not what I thought you were going to be. And then the reality for this particular moment, that what I know, that reality actually was true. You were everything that I hoped you wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And when she said, even when you telling me I want, she was like, I want to believe it.
Been there.
My heart wants to believe it, but I know you lying to me. I was like, oh, Maya.
You hurt my heart when you say
I'm
that.
sorry, girl. I'm sorry. And I felt bad for her because, it's like, dang, she put all her, she really put herself out there.
Yeah.
And tried to do things, quote unquote, the right way this time. And then it still blew up in her face. And now, he got to come correct now.
He don't have a choice.
At all.
Which he did.
He sang to her, which he said he hadn't sang in years. Went to their little, I guess it's their little coffee shop that they like or whatever. Had went on a date or something too, right? In the movie.
Maybe.
I think she had tried to encourage him to go up there, and he's like, I'm not going up there and sing.
Oh.
But he tried to sing his track 7 song. It sounded just as hard as when he played it. But he ran after her.
He did.
And confessed and talked about Aristotle's caves. For anybody that doesn't know what that reference is, it's not Aristotle's caves, it's Plato's cave. It's different. But he was like, we stayed up all night. We talked about things. I want it all. I don't want sex. And she looked at him and he's like, well, I do want sex, but I want the other stuff too.
He talking about, so we can start the 90 days over. Like, really, sir?
Pulled his calendar out.
I appreciate the gesture though.
Right.
It's like, because now you understand the reason, that she wasn't just trying to, keep it from you or control you. Like, this was more about her setting a boundary different for herself that, like you were saying a little bit earlier, not leading with my body.
Yeah. And it's not yours anyway. That's her body.
Yeah. So as far as the second movie is concerned, I feel like their structure really wasn't,
nobody's was,
as big of a deal in the second one, because she was really just kind of feeling some kind of way because he had a past,
but he was lying about it. He wasn't being honest with the depth of what he had actually been doing, and it was coming to bite him in the booty, because he done got drinks spilled on him everywhere they turn. Somebody calling him Zeke the freak, and he's nervous about wanting to marry her, so it seems like he's actually nervous about wanting to be with her.
But I think he just wasn't communicating well on knowing that he was removed from that life now.
I agree.
Because he was nervous when the dude was talking to him, like, hey, stop. I don't want her to know all that.
This my lady. This my girl.
Right. And because I understand she was upset about him not being honest, but I don't think anybody is truly honest about their complete sex life. Like,
and do you want him to be?
Right.
Do you really want to know if he slept with 4,000 women? Do you want to know that?
Well, she was with Kanye.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. I was thinking, and I was like, do you really want him to be that? How open are you wanting him to be about all of this?
Right. And if he is that open, are you going to hold that against him?
Right.
Yeah. What's the purpose of it?
Right. I mean, because right now he's same. But I think that goes back to her not trusting him when he, all that stuff in his apartment and stuff. So I think that is probably why she was saying that she wanted him to be honest. But can you handle the truth?
Yeah. Because some truths are very big.
Yeah.
I mean, he did insert his foot all in his mouth when he was talking about her clothing design and things like that, even though he wasn't intending to do that. It's just the man was nervous.
He was.
Anybody that has ever proposed, y'all know what that feel like, to be super nervous. Is she going to say yes, or is he going to say yes, or whatever? So I got it. I get it.
Because towards the end, him and her got it together. I mean, she was super, distraught. But he was like, "Nah, I'm coming to get you, girl."
Walked in the water,
chest deep,
and it was cold.
It was a bridge for him to get over there to her.
And the ring was beautiful,
but I'd have let you walk through it too.
Yeah.
And I would have been set. I'd have just watched the whole time with a scowl on my face, really,
and laughing on the inside because you idiot. It's a bridge on the other side.
But it makes the gestures, much more grander.
Of course,
he waded through the water.
Yep.
And then came up with his shaky voice, said that he want her to be his wife. He said, "Let's make this thing official." And of course she said yes.
Of course.
With her big old ring.
It was huge. I forgot what Zeke did. What does Zeke do?
I don't know if they said what Zeke did, Cedric did.
They said what Cedric did. I just don't remember because he started in the mailroom.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But he got some money.
Enough, yes.
Yeah, to buy that big old ring.
Yeah. And have the apartment that he had.
Yeah, that apartment was fire.
Yeah, it was.
It was a 2-story.
In California.
Okay.
In a prime spot to be walking and getting breakfast and you ain't getting robbed.
Okay. So, of course, she says yes. And then that pretty much ends their story for the film at that point.
Yeah. Because I think after that, they all check out of the hotel and are going to the lobby.
Yeah, where Cedric dropped the $1.
Oh, yeah.
Because he been trying to make this money back the whole time.
After he used his wife's credit card I was like, this man has no reading comprehension skills. How did you not read that says $4,000 off per night?
$40,000 per night.
That's expensive.
Yeah. Yes. That room better come with all those accommodations.
Right. And a butler.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, how did you think you was going to get a butler for $4,000?
I need somebody to feed me.
For $4,000?
It need to be like Coming to America.
Right.
When, the royal, everything is clean. Your Highness, it need to be on that level.
Yes.
$40,000 a night. Because in 2 days, I done spent almost $100,000. You know what I'm saying?
My nerves is bad.
Once you add tax on it.
And you having a bachelor party for the groom and
so much.
Yeah.
So much.
It is.
But that's all the couples. Any final thoughts about the film in general or?
So what I'll say about the film, it wasn't like the best put together, structured film, and I feel like they could have expounded on each character more just to give a little bit more backstory, and visually the flow of the movie was a little bit too choppy for me.
I agree. I think for me, because they had like some very well-known actors and actresses, I think they made the movie better than the structure and organization of it. Yeah. So
I would agree with everything that both of you just said. This movie could have standed to have been, if you were going to cover all these different relationship dynamics, it probably needed to be at least 2 hours.
Or they longer. Or either they needed to take some of them out and
separate that in. That could have been the second film.
Right.
If you were going to do it that way. But I agree, structurally, visually, this film was very hard to, like, if you not watching, you going to miss something. Because there's so many scenes that are combined into one kind of montage. It was basically a montage film. That's kind of what the feeling.
Time.
Yeah. But if you, forest for the trees. So if you pull back and look at the forest,
topics were good.
The topics were good.
I think for us, it was good examples for what we've talked about in previous sessions about relationships. So
yeah, and I think it communicated all of these things in a real world kind of way versus, your average reader is not going to be reading, psych textbooks. So,
no.
I think that the book that this was based off of was great for your average, person that wants to read this type of material in a very digestible way. So while some of it is very stereotypical, it was still relatable.
Yeah. What's your
that's what I was just going to say. So what would y'all rate it?
On an ABCD level, I would say I'd give it a solid C+.
What's your number though?
Out of 5? 3.25.
Oh, me? I'm next.
I can go.
Oh, go ahead.
3.
Same.
Because it wasn't horrible, but
not earth-shattering either.
There were some. It's really on the director. We'll put that on the director.
I was going to say, I like the actors and actresses.
Mm-hmm.
They did a good
think
job.
I think all of the performers did well in the roles that they were cast to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And made the most of what they could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, before we head out, we do want to make sure we give some shout outs to our countries, because every time we get new folks, we want to make sure that they feel good about listening to us. So for our new people, we have the country of Senegal, the country of Russia, and the country of Israel.
Welcome, guys.
Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Yes. And also next month, there will be a Disbrod.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be live. So get prepared for that. So end of September, we're gonna do this thing again.
Mm-hmm. Y'all know y'all want to see our faces. Also, don't forget to help the algorithm.
Yes.
You know, as you will hear in the outro, like, comment, share, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers that we out here in this thing. Mm-hmm. You know, because we want to grow and help y'all get this information just as much as we want to give it to you. So we appreciate everything. And next month we've got, I would say, a pretty good lineup for y'all. We're going to be talking a whole lot about it's narcissism, right?
Me, and me.
Yeah. So it's definitely the month of me, myself. We hope y'all look forward to it.
Must be this volume control.
So, okay, interns, process your notes. Be sure to catch us next session and find us on all major platforms at The Recycled Podcast.
If you're a new intern, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Thanks for listening. And remember, we are shifting and reshaping our psyche through healing conversations and connections, one discussion at a time.